Okay, so it all kicks off with this motto, found on a really mysterious website. Get this: dispensing Lake City quiet pills to lousy bastards in need of permanent rest since 1968. I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a cheesy crime novel, right? But believe me, that one phrase, that's the key that unlocks a whole world of mystery, connecting the darkest corners of Reddit to actual real-world international espionage. So our story really gets going back in 2009. And it starts with a Reddit user who was, well, let's just say he was infamous. To really get what's going on with the website at the center of all this, you have to first understand the guy who was supposedly behind it. All right, so this guy went by the name Milo, and he built up this very specific online persona. He claimed he was an octogenarian veteran, born way back in 1930. People described him as this crusty old veteran type who used really harsh militaristic language. And he wasn't just some random poster. He moderated some pretty controversial subreddits, so he was definitely comfortable in the, let's call them the weirder parts of the internet. And all the while, he was promoting his own little website, This Old Guy's Image Host, which, as you'll see, is where everything gets really strange. So, Milo was posting constantly, day in, day out. And then, on July 16th, 2009, he just stopped. His account went completely silent. For someone that active, it was super weird. And sure enough, the very next day, a pretty grim post popped up from another user that seemed to explain why he'd vanished. Yeah, check this out. Another user, calling themselves U_26, just flat out says, Milo was a mean old fucker. His entire life fit in the trunk of a car. They claimed he died right there at his desk. I mean, what a eulogy, right? It was so blunt and strange that it was basically the spark that got a whole bunch of internet detectives totally obsessed with this guy. Okay, so with Milo now supposedly dead, people started really digging into his website. And what they found, hiding just beneath the surface, well, this is where a simple internet curiosity blows up into a full-blown investigation. So if you just went to the website, it looked like a pretty basic, kind of sleazy image host. Nothing special. But if you knew to look at the site's source code, the HTML that builds the page, you'd find something else entirely. There were messages hidden in there, stuff that was never meant for the public to see. And these messages, they read just like a classified section for mercenaries. I'm talking about posts asking for 2 ground types fluent in Farsi, Arabic, and French. Another one needed 8 to 10 Chinese/Korean fluent in dialects. They were asking for people with HW experience, that's heavy weapons. And the real kicker? No papers, no problems. I mean, this is clearly not your average job board. And that's when the name of the website, Lake City Quiet Pills, suddenly clicks into place with this horrible, chilling clarity. See, it's not just some random weird name. It's a real colloquialism for bullets. It comes from the Lake City Army Ammunition Plant, which is a major supplier for the US military. So yeah, this was no joke. It was looking more and more like this was a front for some kind of professional and very violent organization. All right, so as the year ticked over from 2009 into 2010, those hidden messages started getting even more specific. And one message in particular pointed to a very specific time, a very public place, and an event that was about to make headlines all around the world. Right there in the code, an invitation. You are invited to a memorial party for Milo, location Dubai, date January 19, 2010. A memorial party for a supposedly dead Redditor in Dubai? The internet sleuths immediately flagged that date. Because what are the odds? On that exact same day, news was breaking about a major international incident in that very same city. And that incident involved this man, Mahmoud al-Mabhouh. He was a senior military commander for Hamas, a really key player in getting weapons. And, importantly, he was a very high-value target for Israeli intelligence. The scene was the Al Bustan Rotana Hotel. And this is the moment. This is where all those digital breadcrumbs from some weird corner of the internet slam right into a real-world, state-sponsored assassination. Now, because Dubai has cameras everywhere, police were able to piece together exactly what happened, almost minute by minute. At 3:25 p.m., Mabhouh checks into room 230. Less than 30 minutes later, a surveillance team checks into room 237, right across the hall. Then, Mahmoud leaves, and the hit squad moves into his room. He comes back around 8:24 p.m. for the last time. His estimated time of death is 9 p.m. And by 10 p.m., the assassins are already starting to leave the country. I mean, it was a perfectly timed, clinical operation. And a level of sophistication here is just staggering. We're talking about a team of nearly 30 people. They were using forged passports, British, Irish, French, Australian, you name it. They were disguised as tourists wearing tennis gear and wigs to blend in. And they didn't just break the door down. They actually reprogrammed the room's electronic keycard lock to get in. This was a professional job, through and through. The method they used was all about stealth. First, they waited in the room. Then, they injected him with a muscle relaxant called succinylcholine, which basically paralyzes you. Then, they suffocated him with a pillow. And to top it all off, they arranged the scene to make it look like he died of natural causes. It was so effective that nobody even realized it was a murder for almost a whole day. With this level of planning, resources, and just sheer precision, there wasn't much doubt about who was responsible. The Dubai police chief went on record saying he was, quote, 99% if not 100% that Mossad is standing behind the murder. And suddenly, that weird memorial party on that obscure website, well, the connection seemed pretty undeniable. But, just like with any great internet mystery, it's never that simple, is it? Just when it looked like all the pieces fit together, the whole thing took another weird turn. New questions and some pretty big inconsistencies started popping up. So basically, it all boils down to two competing theories. On one hand, you have the idea that this was a real mercenary front. The date, the location, it all lined up perfectly with the assassination. It was a sophisticated digital dead drop for a real intelligence operation. But on the other hand, what if it was all just an elaborate hoax? People pointed out that Milo's whole veteran persona was full of holes. Maybe the entire site was just a complex alternate reality game, or an ARG, run by some role players who got unbelievably lucky with their timing. And for years, that's where the story sat. The case went cold. Then, in 2017, a full 8 years after Milo supposedly died, a Reddit analysis tool picked up something that should have been impossible. Turns out there was new activity on both of those accounts, Milo's account and the account of his buddy at 2-6. Now, these weren't public posts you could just go and see. It looked like they were being made in some kind of private, hidden subreddit. And that just throws everything up in the air again, right? Who was still posting from a dead man's account? Was the whole thing a lie? Was Milo never really dead? Or did someone else in this organization, whatever it is, just take over the accounts? So in the end, we're left with a story that just doesn't have an easy answer. Was it a state-sponsored hit that we accidentally got a glimpse of? Was it just an incredibly viral game? Or is the truth somewhere in between? It's hard to say. Look, the mystery of Lake City Quiet Pills is still officially unresolved. But what it really shows us is how the digital world and the real world can crash into each other in the most unexpected and sometimes deadly ways. And it leaves us with a trail of code, a ton of unanswered questions, and a chilling reminder that on the internet, nothing is ever truly quiet.